Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Just the Ginge Show. Pedro show. My other half is only on Tuesdays. I got him part-time custody apparently. So no, but we do have a fellow creator here. He's a friend of a friend who I expect that friend to be in the chat, and it's always nice when you can network and mingle and work on projects together. So a special shout out to Stefan out there, better known as the creative riser man. And without further ado, we've got I think this is his first time. This is like his first project. I know there's been another campaign. We're gonna learn a little bit more about him. Trey Williams, aka Trea-Da Creator. What's up, bro?
What's up, man? What's up?
All right.
Yeah,
All right,
man.
man. So thanks for coming by.
Hey, my pleasure. I'm excited to get this off the ground and, had to, push it forth and like push through because like it was times where I wanted to give up really, but I just kept pushing through.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I don't think I mean, I heard this getting into comics, but it's like, at one point you will think about quitting, and it's like when I heard that, I was like, come on now. But it's like there's a couple times when it's like you're just, I know we're just making sort of silly pages, silly like comics to some people, but for us, it's our whole lives. Everything we do pretty much revolves around this thing. So, it can be very heavy when you're not getting, whatever.
Right. So. Right, absolutely. And I always try to explain to people that when it comes to making comics, it's a lot of work. It's nothing to really, it's nothing easy. It's hours put into pages, writing, editing, promoting. So it's nothing simple.
Yeah, no, especially in the indie scene, like the pros, obviously they have a whole conglomerate, a whole corporation that has departments of everything, doing all that shit. For us, we have to do all of it ourselves. It is the biggest investment aside from money for most people. I'm not a comic book level artist, so I can't do my own stuff. But so, it's like having to pay artists all the time and all this stuff. It's like, it's a huge investment in time and money. So absolutely. But let's talk a little bit about your project. We've got Yellow Prime. I know you're excited about that.
Man, really excited to get this. So Yellow Prime is about Percival Mills, who is he works as a mechanical engineer and at his family's companies called Mills Technologies. And on the side, he pretty much is a superhero within the community. And so Yellow Prime, he's like a detective type of hero. We know he has technology, but he's pretty much a detective. And so going into this, his cases usually involve humans, like a regular detective would handle. But in this story, it transitions into heroes. And so this will be something heavy for him. Plus, in this world, superheroes are almost like celebrities, if you will. And so it's like they call upon him to investigate what's going on. As a regular hero, he's like a non-super. So anybody who has like no powers within this world, they don't have that status of like a celebrity status. Only the ones with the superpowers. So
makes sense.
Mm-hmm. And if you scroll down, the company is called the Wing Paladin Guild. They're like an organization that dedicate themselves to helping heroes and like legally protecting them. It's like, I don't know if you've seen One Punch Man, right?
I actually haven't.
Oh, you haven't?
One with
Okay.
the bald guy. No, I haven't. I'm familiar with it. It's
Hmm.
just been on my list of things to get to. I know I should, but no, I haven't.
Okay. Okay.
I love manga, though, don't get me wrong. It's just not what it is.
Okay. So they're like VOT. You know about VOT, right?
Right, right.
Right. From the boys, but they're not shady. Uh, in One Punch Man, they have an organization that pretty much helps out heroes, and they, for whatever reason, it's like a rule to where it's only supers that are allowed within that. But Yellow Prime, he's like the first non-super to be invited in their ranks due to his, intelligence, his cases he solved. And so this will be something he's dealing with. But that right there, the villain, it doesn't have a name yet. I want to keep it mysterious, to keep it, how do you say it? Like, this is a type of investigative case. And so we won't know his name going like directly into it, but we'll see this villain doing his thing towards heroes. He's pretty violent, because I already told you he's like, compared to the Predator, his hunting skills.
Right.
And
so this was like his first appearance within the universe, this villain. That's why nobody knows his name.
Yes, first appearance.
I like it, bro.
First appearance.
Nice. Oh, yeah. Like, who is this guy?
I wanted to, because like he's inspired from the Predator. When I rewatched the movies last year, I rewatched the movies, and the second one was my favorite, with the City Hunter.
Okay, right.
That was my favorite. And when I was watching it, I was thinking about, what if like the Predator, like what if superheroes were in this world dealing with the Predator? And that's what just,
right.
That's where the idea came from.
All right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh man, I'm just excited.
Yeah, bro.
Just excited
we're
to get
definitely. Let's because I see a couple faces in the chat here, and hello out there to everybody in TV land. But we've got Pops Van Zant. What's up, bud? He's the man behind the madness. Here he is, Neo Star. Hey, bro. He says, the brilliant star that shines through the night, the surge of power that jumpstarts justice. Rise the man, stand before you.
Oh man, Stefan, what's up, man? That's my boy.
Oh yeah,
that's my boy,
I've seen
man.
One Punch Man. Yeah, and then also, so it's like a murder mystery, and he's a fan of this stuff too, murder mysteries specifically.
Yes, it's a murder mystery involving heroes, and I want the backers involved, because like if you scroll down, I have something called clue cards. Clue cards, they come with information, insight on the cases and incidents. And so, the backers, they will read it, get the clue, and each issue will be like an insight that leads up to the villain and the truth. But by the last issue of this arc, and I wanted to put this out, by the last issue, there will be 2 cards that will be sent out to lucky backers. 2 lucky backers. They'll be golden cards, and they'll have a prize attached to it. The one will be a prize of $100, and the second will be a prize of $300. So if you're that lucky backer that get the 2 golden cards, you win that prize.
All right.
I wanted them involved in this, like they're part of the case, and so that was my idea to do.
I like the clue card idea. It is very fun. I've yet to see that as well. I've been seeing a lot of Head to Show we're coming up on episode 100. So I think that's about 2 years of doing a show where it's like every week we have a new creator on. It's a new project. So I've seen a lot of stuff, right? I've yet to see clue cards, so this is you got it first, buddy. On the show.
Yeah, yeah, man. I wanted to do something different because at this campaign, it's a superhero, and I wanted to focus on physical products and like the books. We have digitals available in add-ons, but this right here requires you to be, with the clue cards requires physical, physical books, prints, and everything.
That makes sense.
Right. So hopefully we get to a higher funding point to where we could start the next book and beyond that too.
Absolutely.
And so that's the plan.
Yeah, for everybody out there, and also Pops Van Zant, Trey, after the show, I'll send you the link to, I mentioned this guy, the Madness Comics Network here.
Okay.
Yeah, we're on his network, which is just like a bunch of other comics promotion shows and other type of promo stuff too. But I'll get you his information. He's got a couple comics groups on Facebook as well too, so you don't really need to be on Twitter to get in touch with him. But he'll get you in front of a bunch of shows that'll help get the word out.
Okay, bet, man. Definitely bet.
Yeah, bro. Whitefire Comics. Hello, sir. What's up, man? He says, hello, all. Hey, bud. Welcome to the show. It's my first time seeing Mr. Whitefire Comics here. Always happy to see a new face. Neo says, fair enough. I think that's in reference to having to back the physical for the actual clue cards. Okay, very nice.
Yeah.
All right, so let's take it back to the beginning, because one thing we like to do is we like to get to know the creator, and that typically segues into, obviously your project. So you're a writer, you're an artist. Could you tell us a little bit about your creative journey growing up? Were you always on this path, or did it just strike you one day? Or tell us about it.
So growing up, like with my family, we all have the talent of art. So that's where my talent came from. And I would read manga first. Like that was like going into comics. I would read manga, the manga called Akira. I got into that. And then I started to get more into Western comics. But like when it came to wanting to create comics, and the idea of Yellow Prime came from is when I was in my grandma's house and I was watching this movie. It was like airplanes in it. And I didn't know what it was. I just was sitting down watching it, and it turned out to be the movie. I know you heard of this, The Rocketeer.
You're right.
That movie right there did inspire Yellow Prime, right? With his, with his helmet and him being able to fly. I enjoyed the hell out of that movie.
Oh, dude, it's a great character. The Tomorrowland like setting, it's very hopeful, that type of universe. It's got a good feeling to it.
Right. And when it came to me writing, I started to watch films, and this led to me wanting to be a director. And I started just studying scripting, directing, and started getting more into film more and more. Somewhere along the line, and it just didn't work out for me. And so I just started to focus on writing stories. In about 2000, I think it was 2014, I started to take Yellow Prime in a direction and focus more on it. And so when Yellow Prime came out, I started posting on Facebook, and he garnered a lot of buzz, especially the way his look. And so I would share in Facebook groups, and that's how he pretty much got his, came to known. And there was a lot of Facebook groups back then that I was part of. ICC, I don't know if you ever heard of that one.
Yeah, it was independent comics community. I think that. That's
That's where he was pretty much known. And after that, I've met my friend Carlos. He's the one who is the owner of Champion Comics. And I started to meet more creators, and we created this whole independent, I don't know, like a indie verse group called the Remarkables. And you know, that right there was that right there was like the team in indie, like in the indie space. That was the team right there, especially in ICC. And so that's where Yellow Prime pretty much is got his stats up. And I think when I started to take this more serious and wanted to go to Kickstarter, it's like I needed some information, a lot of information about Kickstarter. I didn't know anything about it much. I just seen people doing crowdfunding. And so when I started to study more and learn everything, I didn't like the all or nothing type of practice. And I would see creators burnt out after a failed campaign. They would quit completely, like they just gave up. And so I went through that. My first campaign failed. You know, I could barely get to, I think I was asking for 500 and I was at the 300 mark. And it wasn't, you know, it wasn't moving as much as promoting I was doing. It's a lot of work doing all of that by yourself. I had a team, but it wasn't a, you know, good team at all. But
yeah, I feel you. And there is really a game within a game, like trying to figure out crowdfunding, and there's like a bunch of ways to do it, but you know, or philosophies. Like, I mean, people argue about this all day long. Really, for me, when I was getting into it, one of the first things I did, it sounds like you did this too, but it's just, you know, luck of the draw, really. Also, I think having a wide network of people, it takes time, really, because there is a bit of like word of mouth that goes on just between over time making friends with creators. It's like, you can't expect all of your friends to back your book. You can't expect anything out of anybody, really. But at the same time, it's like you can sort of share the goodwill and hopefully receive some back over time. And that's sort of how some of this is played. You know what I mean? It's like, but there's no hurt feelings. You can't be upset if people don't share. It's just, you know, it just is what it is. But for me, getting into it, there was a lot of like market research on just looking at other people's books and like just, you know, not even because we actually had me and a partner of mine, we had a small website we were doing where it was like, it was sort of reviews, but not really, because we didn't want to put a spin on anything. We just wanted to present. It was more of like a highlights website, where it's like we just wanted to present these campaigns in a way that was the exact same way the creator of the campaign was presenting it. So we didn't change any of their wording, and you know, just so as to not, you know, not that we were doing gangbusters or anything on this website, but it's like, you know, you don't want to misrepresent somebody something and then they get upset about it. But all that to say, it was really just good market research on, because I would find myself wanting to edit some people's stuff. It's like, ooh, I think this could be better sold this way, but I'm not going to do that because it's not my place, you know. But it was just good for helping to learn, you know, how the game is played. There is a bit of that. It is a lot of networking too.
It's a lot of networking, a lot. Like with Kickstarter, before I would even launch this, I would look at people's campaigns, specifically superhero campaigns, that sometimes it just doesn't do well. Especially with, I told a friend of mine, I said, when it comes to digitals and what is priced with the digital on like the superhero campaigns, it doesn't help it out completely. Some of them were $5 campaigns. I mean, not $5 tiers for a digital.
Right. Yeah.
And some of the campaigns don't even even meet that last bit of money they need, the funding, and it's just stuck there for rest of it. So I wanted to have a different model for mine, to where we focus more on physicals to get that into backers' hands, and with digitals will be just, they're available in add-ons.
Right.
And
digital definitely seems to be like a point of contention for people. It's like a lot of people, especially within the Western comics community, I think the more manga, webtoons style readers, they're way more used to that and it's, willing to read digital. But there's already just a lot of comics readers that just don't like digital. But yes, the price point
that is
can it can be tough, right? Like, so I think $5 depends on the page count of the book, but like if you went to like Comixology, which is doing, I was looking at it today and their poor Twitter, that's a company bought by Amazon, right? It used to be a big deal. And I was looking at their Twitter today, and it's like some of their, like the majority of their posts have like 5 likes and 1 retweet. And this was at the time a giant, right? So it's like, digital's all kinds of a shit show, really, but the pricing, like $5, depends on the page count. I've seen some creators put their digitals closer to like full price, like 10-15 bucks. And that's, I'm a physical guy most of the time anyways. I read digital if I have to, but I'd rather just buy the physical when we're starting to get closer to 10 or 15 bucks, which maybe that's also a sales tactic, right? It's like, I don't know if it's a good idea, but it's like, you can funnel people, you can push the digital and say, well, for $5, it's an upsell, right? For $5 more, you can get the physical. It's like, all right. It's what they do at the movie theaters. If you want a large popcorn, it's like $2 more. It's like, all right, you
bastard. Right. And there's not like, with me, there's nothing wrong with digitals. It's just because like when it comes to superheroes, I'm not gonna say people don't like them right now. It's a lot of people that complain about, it's a bunch of superhero indies on Kickstarter, and there's nothing wrong with writing your own superhero stories. That is something a part of our Western culture. That is something a part of, and I just want to let people know that there's nothing wrong with writing superheroes at all.
No, and it's certainly part of the Western American comic culture. I mean, without superheroes, it probably just wouldn't have reached the prominence that it did. And so a lot of people argue that the superhero stories are sort of modern day mythology, mythological characters in a lot of ways, right? Like they've got bigger than that. But the interesting thing about it is there has always been other types of stories, like westerns, horrors, mysteries, noir stuff, all kinds of stuff. But we got some comments here. Neostar is popping in. He says, the road to success is full of peaks and valleys. Absolutely. No, you got to bang your head against the table like at least once a month, most likely. He says Whitefire says it's a gumball business, hard to make profit. That is also true. It's it's a matter of consistency. I think a lot of it, but also like if your campaign isn't doing as well, I've seen people do this where they will completely sort of switch up the marketing on it. Like they'll change out the title card on Kickstarter. They'll refresh things. You just got to like kind of put new art in front of people and just basically change out your bait and see what else you can get. Didn't they shut down Comixology? Now that's what I was looking into because somebody had mentioned it and I remember hearing that, but the conclusion I came to today was I don't think so. I think it just got folded into Amazon Kindle, but I think it's actually technically still around. Just it's basically not. I don't think Amazon's giving it a lot of money because that Twitter feed should at least have more than 4 likes, in my opinion. Because they were promoting original content. It was like, in case you missed it, check out Comixology's original, whatever the hell this was. And it was like, dude, I'd be bummed if that was my title, only getting that, and I've got this big deal. It's like maybe the payout worked out in the end, but I'd be kind of bummed. Whitefire says, it's how you tell the story that can get you away from the superhero feel. Interesting. Absolutely.
Yep.
We're seeing that too, like Invincible and The Boys. There's like and even My Hero Academia, maybe One Punch Man as well. It's like it is branching out too. I think Yellow Prime kind of feels like an example of that as well. It doesn't exactly look traditional.
Yeah, it's because I tell people, I said the Yellow Prime is a crime story. You know, with him being the detective he is. I wanted to not tell an origin story. That route it's taken many times. There's nothing wrong with it at all. It's just I wanted to do something a little different with this.
No, and I don't blame you. I like the idea too of just dropping us in the bucket.
Right. And with the color style, I already told you, let you know like what colors we were going for. It's inspired by the Watchmen colors that in like a throwback style as well. That's something that I really liked, the way they utilized colors back in the day. And they would use a specific color to focus on certain scenes, certain parts of the panel. And that's something I wanted to implement into the pages. And like with Watchmen, when I was studying pages and I had the colorist Carver, I had him study the pages as well. It's the way the panels are, man, I think it is so good. It's like the comedian when he was in the building speaking to his enemy in the apartment, when he was speaking to him, the way the scene colors changed with the mood was like absolutely genius. And it was like, I think 7 panels.
Interesting.
And that's something I wanted to capture within Yellow Prime, to use colors for mood and theme as well.
No, I think you that too, bro, because that's a good point. Like some people might look at, and it took me getting into creating comics to get a much more of an appreciation of the classical art style and to really see kind of how advanced and thoughtful a lot of it was, right? Like what you mentioned, colors here. Like today's coloring is very pretty still and can have a lot of mood and effect, but it's not done the same way with like a solid block of color, right? It's more like they sound effects and use smoke and little bits of this and that to paint a picture. But it's like, yeah, this is just pure, color theory, just making you feel something.
Right, absolutely right. I wanted to, because at first I wanted to go with the what I call fancy colors, or like deep rendering.
Right.
I wanted to go with that at first, but again, I wanted to stand out from other comics, basically, like other superhero comics, and be different. Take the invisible route, the boys route, to stand out like that. And with like the page you're at right now, those two are they're like the employees at the Wing Paladin Guild, and the people that works there, they have visors protect their identity, like the red visors to protect their identity. And and so they're like a support agency for the superheroes. They don't operate like SHIELD do. They're not like a secret organization. They're just individual civilians who wanted to do more. They don't have any powers or have that courage to take the hero route. So this is how they could dedicate their, But
okay, very nice. I like it. You got to be of use somehow if you got the skills. So
yeah.
You mentioned earlier that Yellow Prime you were working on him back in 2014. Was there earlier versions of him as well as this? Because there's a lot of guys that have their baby that they've worked on up until they actually end up putting it out like a decade later, right? So was there an earlier version, or
there was? Right now his design is pretty the same except for his belt and the color. He was actually black. Like it wasn't blue. His suit wasn't blue, it was all black. And so he looked like a bumblebee. And I didn't want that to be his
I see.
look all the way. I didn't want a no B theme type of hero, and so I just pretty much like turned them blue.
Yeah. No, I like it though. It's and it yeah, no, it definitely suits. And the suits him. No, I dig it.
And
So
then
what was
that's
your
it. Wait, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. In this page right here, he was pretty much is like this is him investigating a murder of a hero, and I wanted to show this. I wanted to show him actually doing detective work as a as a hero.
Mm-hmm.
And in that last panel, that's a scene of his like base of operations, and he has this little robotic helpers in the background that helps him. And in the art book, there's a art book attached to each tier, and in there it will have 12 pages of characters and more characters to come. And in there, it will be also a page that shows his entire base of operation, like from it'll be refined art, shows his entire HQ.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people love gadgets and all that.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, that sounds like a lot of fun too. Like that's, I mean, I'd even pick up something like that for like Batman or something, like a look inside, just basically an art book of a
right.
Concept art and stuff like that. A lot of good coffee table books. I'm a big fan of that type of stuff.
Oh yeah, yeah. Okay. Oh yeah.
So, who's this? Who's the missus over here?
Her name is.
What do we got?
Her name is Lady Prime. Her name is Lady Prime. She's a fashion designer. She's a superhero. And, she's a super, what they call a super. Her powers is electricity, and she utilized her martial arts with it's like a pole. She has like a long stick she used that's metal that she used, attach her electricity to that to fight. And you will see because like Yellow Prime and Lady Prime and like how they got that name, you could say that it's like they're almost legacy characters, or there was someone came before them.
Okay.
And so, so it's not a color thing to them. It's just like that last part, Prime, and it was a team of heroes within this universe that you will see throughout the books. And the original heroes, people always notice the Trinity. You got like Marvel and DC, they got Iron Man, Captain America, and Thor. But in here, there's really, you could say it's a duo. And there's two heroes that many of them look up to. And one of them is named Union Guy, and another one is Mother Saturn. And so those two were like the original superheroes.
Oh, all right.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice.
Get my
okay, I dig it.
Oh yeah. Oh, let me get my charger real quick.
Let me go look over. We got a friend here. I like his suit.
Oh yeah, man. Him Arch Ranger, he's inspired by two characters. And I wanted to get more creative with him. Two characters that he's inspired is, you got Iron Fist, and you have some would recognize who I'm talking about, Yuji Itadori from Jujutsu Kaisen, and that's an anime that's out right now. But this character inspired, like he was inspired from those two characters. His powers is like the headband possesses. That's like a power possesses the headband, and when he puts it on, it pretty much transfer like the power towards him. So he utilized that energy to fight. But he's a rookie superhero, so he'll be with Yellow Prime and Lady Prime helping with the investigation. But you know, as a rookie hero, he'll have slip ups, mistakes. Lady Prime is his mentor, and she will, you know, you'll see her check him as a rookie. You know, everybody has a hero code. You know, you can't kill, all that. You'll see him, you know, go through all of that.
I think you've really just sort of made a really interesting comparison there, or dynamic, in terms of like, this isn't you didn't do an origin story for Yellow Prime in this book, and where it's almost in some ways like the focus, not that the focus is on this other character, but getting to see him as a rookie starting off almost sort of backdoors an origin story for another character, which in its own right is like interesting. Being somebody else's book, it's like I'm interested in seeing the dynamic play out over time, and also watching him make some rookie mistakes and also have to learn too. It's right. It's like you're going to get caught up. There's a lot of possibilities for rookie characters. It's fun like that.
And in this situation, there is this hunter who I say whose hunting skills is on par as the Predator.
Right.
Him being a rookie hero and this dangerous villain is out there is, you know, it's not going to be a good look at all for him. And this is right. And so with this cover, I got the original sketch right here.
Oh man, let's see it.
You got the original. This cover, it originally had. That's how it looked. I don't know if you could see that.
Damn, bro! Right on. Very nice.
And so you could see Yellow Prime. Nice. You can see Yellow Prime right here, Lady Prime, Archranger, and Frank. I had them in there originally, but I wanted to be villain centric.
Yeah.
And so I just took them out, put him in there, and dragging.
Okay, sorry.
And I wanted to show him like dragging a superhero, and it just symbolizes like what he's standing on. He means business.
No, I think you nailed it. And also, I agree that because this is the cover C, right? So this is, I agree with having a villain-centric cover. And I also like this sort of, I don't know what the phrase is, but like this slight angle on this. But no, that other piece, it looks, especially having done physically, it looks great. And you could even maybe still use that as a print, right? With the other characters' heads off to the side. So, I mean, there's still possibilities with that.
Oh yeah, man, most definitely, man. So like, you know how like I said, I inspired from the Predator. The Predator has like many different gadgets. This right here is like a naked form for him. He really has more stuff on his suit, which you will see definitely in the pages. He has more stuff on his suit. His whip that he has on the side it has many different mechanics to that whip. And so it's gonna be hell. I can't wait to show some heroes get slaughtered, man.
So let me ask you this, because I like to ask writer-artist combos this. How do you approach your process? Are you writing everything out first, and then do you stick to the script, or how do you do that, going from story to art?
So I have like two methods that I do. One, I would just like straight write and start doing pages. But as things go on, maybe you might see a scene in a movie or something might come to your thought. When I'm drawing, I would just draw a panel to the side and write a note towards it to like a new scene, basically.
Right.
And so that is one of my process. The second would be I would draw out an entire page, probably like 4 panels, and then I would write what that scene is, and the writing might change. And so when the writing change, I go and change that scene.
Right.
And so those are my 2 methods how I do that. And I approach
it. I think also the first part, like that's actually like that should be like tattooed on everybody's foreheads. Like if something comes to mind, write it down. Even if it's just a quick note, just jot it down, because I've made that a practice, but I mean, we've all done it where it's like you have a really good idea, you're laying down and you're like, yeah, I'll remember it when I wake up. And it's like that. You gotta keep a notebook or something nearby just to get it out and get it out of you.
Yeah, man. I always try to just like jot something down because I'm like I'm gonna like forget it when I'm writing and drawing more, and those 2 processes are in itself is a lot of work.
Nice.
That is a lot of work. But here's this.
Yeah,
I was about to show you another sketch. This was going to be a part of this campaign, but you know, if we're successful, I will definitely put this in the second campaign. This sketch right here is with Yellow Prime. He's kind of like in a sewer area, and you can see the villain's hand right there. Yeah, kind of sort of cornering him.
Oh yeah, no, that's a great scene. Did you go to art school? I mean, you said your parents were artists. I mean, how much of like one-on-one coaching did they give you? Did you show them your stuff and they're like, here, do this? Or what was that like growing up?
So like my mom, like when she started drawing and she stopped. And so it's kind of crazy, but like I started drawing on my own, started being like self-taught, and I started looking at Dragon Ball Z, started studying how they drew the arms, how they drew the face. My uncle was an artist. He showed me a couple of tricks. And when I got in I didn't go to college for art school. Like I didn't go for that. When I got in high school, I had an art teacher. She showed me how to cross hatch, how to use stippling, she showed me like how to do a lot of stuff that I implemented to drawing comics. And you know, she was real, man. When I tell you she was like a rough teacher, like her lessons were like torture, man. Her lessons was torture.
I can dig it. For me, it's like I had art classes in elementary school up until 5th grade, and then when you go over to middle school, you get to start picking electives. So I went to band and just never took another art class and started drawing on my own as an adult. You know, just to sort of, and especially getting into comics, it's like I kind of feel what's the word? I'm a trier. You know, when I see things that I like, I'm like, ooh, I want to try that.
Right.
So, speaking of artists, let me ask you this real quick. How did you meet the rest of your art team? We've got an editor, we've got a colorist. You mentioned you were good friends with your colorist. Did you tell me about that? Or you guys know each other in real life? Or?
Yeah, we know each other in real life. We grew up. I met them in high school, and Aziz, he was a great writer. When I showed him my first Yellow Prime script, man, he oh my God, the man tore me one, man. He was pretty much like correcting some stuff, and he changed up some things. And I asked him, I said, hey, why don't you just become my editor? And he agreed to it. I don't know why he didn't write the book. Like he has a novel that he wants to write, and something, I don't know what it is, but he just doesn't get it out. And so I was like, just be my editor for Yellow Prime then. Carver, he's a great colorist. Like, Carver's a great colorist. He's a great painter. He was in my art class, and we both got into digital art at the same time, but he was more keen on color theory and everything, while I was like more into inks and penciling and values and all that. So that's, how we all met.
I like that a lot. No, and that's actually super convenient for you. Just kind of, even the three of you, but you and Carver split to make one whole sort of unit. Just by natural sensibilities too, though, just by following what pulls you. It's like, that's a great story, bro. I love that.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I was definitely, and I was like, told him like, let's do this project. Let's go ahead and do this. And because originally Carver, like my original Yellow Prime Kickstarter, the first one I did, it wasn't in color. It was in black and white. It was like in grayscale. And I wanted to focus on storytelling, but I noticed like some people, they weren't big fans of like grayscales or black and white, despite, people reading black and white comics and manga nowadays. I'm like, I don't think people are picky anymore about what they, what the comics look like. So,
I mean, I'd say just from how I see it, here's what I see in the neck of the woods in the indie community I'm in. There's already, I mean, and you can just call it, I guess, for maybe personal choice or arbitrary reasoning or whatever, maybe a combination, but there does seem to be and maybe it's getting smaller as manga. I don't think it's ever really not been mainstream here. I grew up reading manga. I remember in 7th grade, like when Naruto and Bleach and everything were hitting the TV, it was like you couldn't look down a hallway in school without a kid. We were passing the books around. You'd go to the bookstore on Saturdays to play Yu-Gi-Oh! And there's like just 20 kids stuck around the manga section reading. So it's always really been popular. But within the American comics community, there still seems to be a pretty big pushback against it. So, but there are still people that read black and white, and I think as more maybe superhero centric stuff comes out, I know like My Hero Academia, that was one that one kind of blew me away because how it took American comic ideas and just totally repurposed them in ways I'd never thought of before. So it's definitely growing, I think. But yeah.
And even in the manga industry, My Hero Academia, they stood out from the others as well. And taking superhero idea and turning it, that's the same thing like One Punch Man as well. Like they took the superhero idea and they took their spin on it.
Right.
And so that right there definitely should say that there's still, there's superheroes are still a thing.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah. Yeah, I think largely. I mean, I think it's kind of evident. I mean, it's just been like a decade of like kind of bad writers in a lot of ways. It's like more politically driven,
right,
and superhero focused stories, and we're sort of all getting to reap the benefits and repercussions of that.
Yeah.
Help create a much larger avenue for indies and just out of necessity, right? Like people getting kicked into the mainstream or, feeling, like, I don't know if you, and he's certainly old news at this point, and the book I don't even think the book got made. But
what's
that? Daniel Kibblesmith's New Warriors, like it was a big joke. It was the one that had the internet gas and the, like the two, it was just a really bad, like far left spin on the New Warriors. And I could pull up some images, but it was wrote by the dude that wrote Santa's Boyfriend or something like that, like a kid's book about Santa's boyfriend, Daniel Kibblesmith. He looks
I haven't even heard of him. I haven't even heard of him.
This was like 2018, I think, but it was so egregious that I'm pretty
Hmm.
sure the book never even got made. But here's the thing of it
Oh
is,
wow, I didn't get made. Oh.
yeah, there was concept art that got leaked, and it just lit the internet on fire, and it was hilarious, but also, just really in your face with how
Hmm.
just out there they were with it. But here's the thing of it all, it's sort of how, in a way, Daniel Kibblesmith inspired me to write my own story. It's about 6-ish months later or something, Marvel announced a new Blade series was going to be coming out. And I
Hmm.
was like, all right, finally, thank you, let's go. And then they then, like 3 months later, announced it was Daniel Kibblesmith on it. And I was like, oh my God. Dude, it's one of the last
So.
times I really got mad about this
Hmm.
shit. It's like, it actually made my cheeks red. I was like, I was excited about that book. So I ended up just saying, you know what, fuck that. And then I wrote my own zombie story, or not zombie, vampires. It's basically like Alien meets vampires, Vampire Island, crash landing on Vampire Island.
Oh
But it's
wow.
fun.
So that like with that idea, like is that something like you've always wanted to write or?
Well, I got into comics. I mean, I grew up reading comics. I grew up reading superhero comics mostly, and then manga, but never like out of the sort of cape genre stuff.
Hmm.
So getting into indie comics, specifically, the first stuff I wanted to write was horror. So for me, I've always been in horror movies. And you mentioned wanting to be a director. Like, you can put that on
Yeah.
my list of wants as well, right? Like, I've got a lot of horror shorts that I write that I can definitely, see myself, if in a perfect world, directing. And I like to have hands on that type of stuff. But
Right.
it's like, no, that story specifically, not necessarily. Um, but I was just so angry at the idea of, like, what do you mean this motherfucker is going to be writing Blade? Like, one of the most high T characters that Marvel has, right? One of the
Right.
most badass dudes, and they gave it to the guy that did New Warriors and Santa's Boyfriend. Like I said, it actually made my cheeks red, which sounds silly, but I mean, and this was like, that book didn't come out either. I don't think that book came out either. The
With
Daniel Kibble
the
Smith Blade. Yeah,
um
somebody else ended up on it, but he's like so radioactive in that I just don't think he's going to work in comics. Like, it's just, I don't know. Yeah, that was a
yeah.
while back too. So yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. With the thing mm, with presenting concept art to the public,
Mhm.
the fact that it got leaked and it felt like they were not confident about the designs and they didn't know it being leaked could be like a test field to see how
Oh
the audience like it. But you present some concept art of the new Warriors and it didn't get made. It sounded like it was like super bad. Like people didn't like the designs or something.
I've got the article right here, and here's some of the sadness about it. Is this? And let me say hello to my boy. Hey Ray, what's up, bud? Hail, chat and panel. Hey, bub. White Fire says, when they took Andy Kubert away from Ghost Rider, I had a tear, man. Yeah, Andy Kubert, that's a beast. Put him on X-Men. I've got the Grant Morrison Kubert Batman run. Okay, so I've actually got this. Let me pull this up real quick, bud. I just
Okay.
since we're chatting, we'll get back to Yellow Prime, and then we'll go over the perks, and then we'll call it a day. But just real
All right.
quick, because some of the sad truth about this is this cover art is not bad, and I'd dare even call it good. Like, I like the way this looks. I don't like the characters.
Okay.
I like the way it looks. Like, this is not good. I don't like this design, right? But this cover ain't bad.
Oh.
Yeah, oh yeah.
You know,
So
this
go ahead.
looking at this almost looked like when I like first glance of it, from my perspective, I almost thought it was like Power Rangers or something. Like with everything's uh solo color. And so these are the new Warriors.
Well, again, I don't think this ever saw the light of day. This was in
Uh,
2020. It's still on Marvel's website, but
mm,
yeah, well, we've got screen time. I believe his power is something about internet gas. Oh yeah, no. He got his power from being exposed to his grandfather's, quote, experimental internet gas. I mean, this has been beat to death, but you haven't seen it yet, buddy. So we're going to kick this horse just a little bit more. We've got Snowflake and Safe Space.
Wait, those are their superhero names?
Yeah, Snowflake and Safe Space. That's their
yeah. Wow. So
it's a joke, really. It's like it's spitting in the face. They know what they're doing with this shit. Right?
Is this satire? Like, what's because like I don't know how that will even get past like the official art team or something. Like, how do they even get like past? Because like with some of the designs, hold on, can you scroll back up to what's safe space or Snowflake?
Yeah, right.
So when it comes to designing things, this right here would definitely get past. Like if I was the art director, I wouldn't pass this as a design. It's kind of over complicated, and this looked like it would be like I don't know. This don't seem like it would be fit superhero material. It's almost like it would be something. No,
yeah,
that definitely wouldn't pass me at all.
Yeah, no, that's I mean, I'm certain. I mean, if you look at again, he wrote Santa's Boyfriend. So this guy, he's marketing to like those type, and I don't mean gay people. I mean like people that are into books about Santa's boyfriend. Like there's as small as that market may be, you know what I mean? It's like I think they were, and also I mean, we could discuss this to the cows come home, right? But it's sort of the current generation. You know, it's like they don't give a shit. You know what I mean? But anyways, let's talk something we do.
I see what you mean. I see what you mean.
Okay, so let's we'll talk the perks here, and then we will because there is another show. Pops is gonna kick off another show, so let's bring this right on up here. And just FYI for those who, because we haven't even mentioned it. The show, I'll actually be lettering this book. For everybody, for all the Ginge fans out there, your boys on this one, so pick it up.
Yeah, man. So when it comes to lettering, what's your process when it comes to lettering comics?
Well, it depends on the creator I'm working with, because it just depending on how much of a sort of creative relationship with them I have will dictate how much feedback I can give, because I don't like to just barrel over people, you know what I mean? But what I'll do is I'll look at the art, and then I'll look at the page, and then I try to guide people's eye. It's all about telling the story on the page, and you don't want to cover the art. So it's a lot of like fine. And also I read the dialogue out loud as I'm lettering, which helps me decide where the bubble spaces are going to be instead of putting everything in bubble, right? Like aside from it being one big paragraph, you might want to split that up anyways. I'll say all the dialogue. I'll even make a little softer voice if I'm doing the girl character. You know, like, get into it, and it just helps
That's good.
Focus it, yeah. So that's how I do it.
That's good, man. I like to hear that because like with some comics, some pages the bubbles will, man, some of the bubbles it could make the entire page look ugly. I was speaking to my a friend of mine, and I was telling her about when it comes to looking at a whole page from like far, just like stare at the entire page, to where there's a zigzag method of the bubbles kind of follow with the panels.
Right.
And there's like some pages within like Marvel Comics or DC where it's cluttered. It covers up most of the art, and it makes the page look entirely ugly.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, you know, when you were speaking about spacing and everything, I was like, okay, yeah.
Yeah, as you say the dialogue on the page, I can picture Marvel pages where it's just like a whole, it's like this much, just a whole line of like bubbles. It's like some of that's on the writers too. It's like you
Yeah,
guys are getting in here giving like full speeches.
yeah.
As a writer, I try not to do that. I think
Right.
reading the dialogue out loud for me helps not only as a letterer but also as a writer. Because as I'm
Hmm.
writing it, if I'm writing my own stuff, I'll act everything out too, and it's like
Right,
I
right,
go
yeah.
for whatever sounds the most natural, right? If it doesn't sound like something somebody would say, as long as it depends, because each, if a character has a unique voicing, then all right, fine. But it just helps. I go for whatever's natural. But
Yeah.
so let's kick this off, buddy. Tell us about
Okay.
the first perk here. New case.
Oh, okay. When it comes to new case, this is the standard cover, and with that has the clue cards, that has the magazine, the prints, and you get a thank you credit for that one.
All right.
And standard cover.
Mm-hmm.
The next tier would be Lady Prime's Ambition, where she's on the cover, and you see Yellow Prime in the back. And I wanted to have like a investigative board in the back, and have that be her theme, and have her, be determined on the. This one is just cover C, same thing,
Mm-hmm.
same thing as the standard cover, and the
Right.
culprits and
Real quick.
the. Okay.
Let me just I just want to highlight. So here's cover A, right? We've got Yellow Prime and Lady Prime right here. We've got this is cover B. I'm sorry. This is cover B.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is cover C, the culprit. So here's your Lady Prime, and yes, the detective board with the string. I was wondering, I was like, he's got to have string on there. It's detective board.
Right. Oh yeah,
Sorry
man.
to interrupt. Go ahead, buddy. My bad.
Oh, you good? You good? And with the third tier, it's called the culprit's mind, and this right here, it has the same thing as the others, but this one comes with free shipping only in the US. And I wanted to have this one be like a special cover and with the villain on it as well. This one has like free shipping to it.
Okay. Nice.
And the Yellow Prime special tier, that one has everything as the other tiers, but it also comes with the original sketch that I will be doing. It'll be by request from the backer that gets this one to, shoot me a message of like what they would want on the sketch, or would they want me to like custom make it basically. And this one definitely does come in, like the cover comes in hollow foil.
Mm-hmm.
So that one would be like special.
Okay.
And
so
okay, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. The last tier is the Yellow Prime Chromium fan, and this one has everything. This one has everything from the previous, but your name is a suspect in Yellow Prime's case. Like you become a suspect, and there's the original sketch. You have a Yellow Prime sticker, and you have the thank you Craig in there.
All right.
And the cover comes in chromium, and that right there is the highest tier. I think all of these, I had to put some thought into them, how I wanted to package them. I didn't want to give like for like physical. I didn't want to give them like 2 items, like most Kickstarters, they would the physical, it'll probably be like 2 items, a book and a digital tier. I wanted to put like everything in there. You get the limited prints, got the clue cards, and got the books, and you also have a art magazine as well. So I wanted to give them a full package for those.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice, bro. personally, I'm a big fan of art books as well, and do those with
Mhm.
my campaigns too. And I think it's a good, like as far as like the extra stuff goes. Prints,
Mhm.
I'm a big fan of prints. I'm a big fan of stickers. Over the years, I've seriously got more things than I have room for. So I've kind of like just within my own creations, but also like some of that extra stuff for me, it's like, can I stick it on my wall or can I stick it on something? But
Right.
having additional content or an art book or like an extra book, like something like that, that's always preferred in my opinion. So,
Right. Right.
yeah.
That's something I wish there was like a couple of campaigns that I wish would have like additional material to a tier. This is exclusive, and this is a backer who's like getting the first time product of your comic. And so I wanted to give them like a whole package for them to have. And
Wonderful.
we're going to be like mainly focused on physical products for now, before we get into the digital tier, because I could give like a digital tier out, but I want the backers to be involved, especially with the clue card and the prize as well that comes with the final issue of this arc. Have them basically engage, and
I
with this,
see.
with the detective type of book or crime story, some of those, some of those books or games, they have games on Kickstarter. There's um, board games, video games.
Oh
It
yeah, they're
gets you,
huge on Kickstarter.
yeah, very huge. And
Right.
I was thinking
Bigger than
about like,
comics, you probably argue. Yeah.
yeah, and, and I was like, they really get you involved in this. Like, there is no way, the backer's not going to be involved in those type of things. And so I wanted to implement that into this campaign.
No, I like it, and I think it's even clicking a little further now. So when you say the end of this arc for these clue cards, how many issues in are we talking? Is that issue 4, issue 3? Like
Issue 4, it'll be 4 issues.
okay, oh, okay.
For this arc.
So I like it. Yeah, no, I like it even more. It's yeah
Mm-hmm.
the clue card. That's fun, man. I
Oh yeah.
have not
Oh yeah.
so I'm excited.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to look
Yeah.
into that. You sort of tickled the old my investigative brain here. It's like I need to see what the board game guys are doing because that's seriously
Yeah.
that's a huge market. I mean, it makes sense because most board games cost more really than most
Yeah.
comics.
Mm-hmm.
Some campaigns are expensive, but yeah, there's just a much larger market. I think. Generally
Yeah, it's a
speaking.
very, very big market, man. They make bank on Kickstarter. You can look some of them up, and they didn't fund it up. Like, they have their funds like reached beyond, and it gets people excited, engaged. It was even a card, I think a deck of card, trading card, crime theme type of Kickstarter, and that right there did really well. And
Nice.
so I was like, let me add something to this campaign and get the backers involved.
I like it. I think it works. And we've got for all those out there in TV land, we do have it's incredibly long link. I think it's because it's like streaming as well, but we do have the link there. I think the link's also in the video description.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we've got Trey's. How do they call that? A Facebook. I'm not a Facebook guy, but Trey, are you making it to Twitter? You think? I mean, you don't have to. Whatever's best for you. But where can people get a hold of you, generally speaking?
Mostly Facebook. They can get me a hold of Facebook. I am gonna get on Twitter. I have to get on there. I know how Twitter is, though. I know how Twitter is.
I got into comics, dude. I specifically made you can call it a promise, you can call it whatever. This is what I said to myself. I'm never going to argue with people online about pretty much anything, especially politics. But like, and it's not, even if I disagree, it's more just like, I don't want to get myself hyped up and stuck behind a computer arguing for hours a day, making that part of my normal thing. And also, I don't know. I don't want to look like a crazy person, truthfully. It's like I just like eating the popcorn and watching people go at it. I'll do that.
Right. I understand what you mean, man. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, man. The debates, man, especially on Facebook.
Yeah.
It's one of my friends that had expressed. He posted it too. The infighting within the indie community. He got really sick and tired of his friends fighting, or about some. It shouldn't ruin a friendship over that. You can have a debate and disagree with each other, but that shouldn't end your friendship with someone. And so when he posted about it, I was like, I feel the same way. And there was a lot of people in the comments were, airing out their opinions. And I'm like, that shouldn't tear the indie community apart. That's not something should do that at all.
There is a lot of like being unable to disagree or disagreeing, but you have to do it with the knives out. There's no way to just not like my best friend in the world. We've been best friends for like 12 years, and he irritates me like once a week on some stupid shit. But it's like it's fine, right? Because it's like, yeah, whatever. You're an adult enough to be like, I love this guy, so it's like we're friends. We've been friends for a long time, but it's like it's a skill. You don't have to, especially the internet though. People, it's why I don't do it. I've had my fun in the trenches back in the day. It's like I'm not falling down that rabbit hole again.
Yeah. That's what you mean. Yeah.
All right, bro. Whew. We're coming to the end of this ride, my friend.
Yeah.
Right. Thanks for joining me, Trey.
Hey, man, my pleasure.
Yeah.
No problem, man.
Yeah, go ahead and make one last pitch at it, and we've got your stuff here for anybody that wants to contact you or back the book. What you got?
Okay. Yellow Prime, now on Kickstarter, live. This is an engaging book. We are focused on physicals, and this is something you want to definitely be involved with, especially by the fourth issue, the clue cards. There is a prize by the fourth issue, and we will see the reveal of who the culprit is in Yellow Prime's case.
That I'm actually very excited for, because this is a mean looking dude already. The angle, that slight angle shift really gives it like this air of like, he just got punched in the face and you're sort of like looking at him funny.
Oh man, most definitely.
All right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. So everybody, you heard the man. We've got the link here in the chat. Trey, we hope to see you around. Like I said, I'll send you some. I'll send you a couple guys to get in touch with to promo.
Okay. Okay, that's cool, man.
As the letterer, I hope we make $1 million on this book. Let's go, bro.
Man, I'm shooting for 7,000 and beyond. That's what I'm shooting for, man. And so we could just keep it rolling.
Absolutely. And we'll have you back on the show too, because I'd like to discuss. It's hard to really get into anything in an hour, but this was great to get the ball rolling. The book's already funded for everybody out there, and real quick, because we didn't mention, when can we? It's like March. So March 24th. So the book will be. You'll be shipping it out. Are you going to be doing the fulfillment yourself? Or are you hiring it out or?
Fulfillment myself. I do have some help here, and I was letting them know about everything that we'll need, everything that we're pretty much prepared to do all of that basically.
Right.
And when it comes to, I've seen a couple of Kickstarter updates where some of the fulfillment companies did, there's something that always goes wrong. And so I wanted to just personally handle this. And so. Yeah.
No, here's the thing with as far as fulfillment companies go, I'm sure there's some that are reliable. The only, I used one, I fulfilled my first book myself just to get the experience. I kind of feel like everybody should do it at least once so that you know what the process is like. But all that to say is, it took like 3 days to make all the packages together, and that was like 6-hour shifts, right? So it's not my most favorite thing to do, but so that's why we're using Critical Blast. This dude named RJ, he's shipped like many, many, many books for like just a huge swath of our community. So that's always an option for you too. But yeah, man, Gemini mailers, right? I don't know if you're shipping with those, but those are pretty cheap. You can get a stack of 100 for like $30, right? Packing tape, bubble wrap, and bags and boards. You should be good to go on that.
You know what? I am because I forgot to contact them. I did look up Comics Wellspring.
Yeah.
I was looking at how much how much everything costs, how much they do for the comics, the staple comics, and I was like, okay, I'll use them. So
yeah,
man.
The printing, I've printed with them, and it was good. I've never used their fulfillment service, but I would look at how much it cost you, and then I would talk, if you were still interested in it, I would talk to RJ, and because the way he does it, and I'm assuming it's still this way, but it just comes out of the shipping price that you charge the individual tier. So essentially, the backer is paying for the shipping, but they're also paying for the shipping. That money goes to RJ, and if there's any left over, I believe it comes back to you. But don't necessarily quote me on that. But yeah, he would be one to talk to. But anyways, yeah. All right, bro. So again, thanks for coming by, man. You're welcome anytime. And thanks for having me on the team, man. Seriously, I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Definitely. I'll be back on the show. We could because I will be showing off some artwork, and we could talk about it's a lot of stuff to talk about Yellow Prime, and a lot of stuff to get to. Yeah. That I didn't even bring up, but next time I'll be on, we'll have a lot to show, basically.
Yeah, we'll do a draw stream sometime. I've been drawing. I don't know if you. Yeah, we'll get some friends on. We'll do something. Okay, everybody. So you heard it. Back the book, or I'll kill you. All right, no, but thank you, everybody. Ray, thanks for. I'll hit you up, Ray. Thank you, buddy. We got Whitefire Comics. Thanks for coming by, bud. Pops Van Zant off doing Pops related things. All right, and we'll go ahead and kick this bucket, everybody. Peace.
All right.